When you're ready to begin today's class, we will start laying down. Here's my little dog, Mabel. She'll join me here for a second, I'm sure. You can lay down in Shavasana, or maybe bend your knees and stand your feet up near the edges of your mat in constructive rest pose. And just scanning through your body. Take some nice deep breaths as you settle in. And becoming more aware of the pace of your breath. And if possible, see if you can recall any emotions that you've experienced today, any themes that have been part of your day. Recalling how much energy you've exerted. And just kind of taking inventory on all these things so you can arrive more fully in this moment. Maybe becoming a little more aware of anything that's still hanging on to you, still affecting you in this moment now. With every exhale you take, let your face relax even more. So that if someone was looking at you, you would look so peaceful. And we're clearing out to make space for fresh energy, freshness, presence. If you would like to set a dedication or intention for your practice today, feel free to bring something or someone to mind. And then we'll take 3 clearing breaths in through the nose and a nice big sigh out of the mouth. Then returning to a steady pace of breath, we'll touch the thumb to the pointer finger, and then to the middle finger, thumb to the ring fingers, and to the pinky. So we're just going to touch each of the fingers here. So thumb to pointer, thumb to middle, thumb to ring fingers, and thumb to pinkies. So just go ahead and do that a few times through. And then slowly or quickly starting to speed up. And just see how quickly you can maintain this pattern. If you want to, you can open your eyes and look at your hands, though I personally find it easier to close my eyes. It's okay if you mess up. That's all right. It's good to try new things and fail at things, and you know. So just try to go as quick as you can here for just a couple more rounds. And then spread your fingers out nice and wide, creating a sensation of stretch through the palms and through the fingers. You could maybe start to rotate your wrists. And then letting your hands rest. We'll straighten out the legs and take a long body stretch, reaching arms and legs in opposite directions. Okay, and then moving any props from beneath you off to the side. Let's stand the feet up here for a couple of rounds of bridge pose. If you have a block or something smallish close by, you might want to put it between your knees just for some more, like, kind of just brings more awareness to the muscles we're using. So you want to just kind of lightly squeeze the block between your knees. You don't have to try super hard there, but we're just kind of holding it in place, tucking your shoulder blades in beneath your back there, pressing your hands, your elbows, and those shoulders down. Pick up all of your toes, spread out your toes, stretching your feet, and then set your feet down. When you're ready, use an inhale to lift the hips, hip points straight up toward the sky. We can stay lifted at the top here. Tuck your chin toward your chest, just a little more to lengthen out the back of your neck. Press a little bit more into the upper shoulders. So we're kind of rolling back onto the shoulder blade, or above the shoulder blades. Take a big breath in. And exhale, lower down. Let's do that a couple of times. We'll inhale and lift and stay lifted for a breath or two. You choose your timing. We want to be tuning into the glutes and the hamstrings and the thighs here. So just feel those areas. And before you get too tired, exhale and lower. Let's do that a couple more times. You're choosing your pace. All right, just thinking about one more round, inhaling on the way up and then exhaling right away on the way back down. You can move that block to the side for now. Start to pull your knees in toward your chest. Reach your forehead up toward your knees. And you could take a little micro rocking here, just kind of massaging out that part of the back that was being compressed maybe a little bit during our bridge. And then go ahead and lower your head and shoulders down. We'll still keep hold of the knees. And now we can focus the movement and that massaging pressure around the sacrum, the very lowest part of the back. I'm not sure actually if you would call the sacrum part of your back. Would it be part of the pelvis? It's kind of part of both because it connects the spine to the pelvis. I don't know. All right, and then lowering your feet down. Let's turn onto either side. Find your way up to a seat. We can sit cross-legged or soles of the feet together or legs out in front of you, whatever feels okay. Let's sit up nice and tall here, tenting the fingertips down and aligning your spine, reaching up through the crown of your head. So you have just a slight tuck of your chin. Maybe closing your eyes so you can feel your alignment from that inner perspective. Lengthening up as much as you can. With an inhale, let's reach both hands up. Option to look up as your hands join. Exhale, side bend to the right. The right arm lowers, the left arm reaches. Let's stay right here in our side bend. With your inhale, slowly rotate your head to look up toward that left elbow. And exhale, looking down toward your right hand. Inhale, looking up. And exhale, looking down. Inhale, rise up to center, both arms lift. Exhale, side bend to the left. Left arm lowers, right arm reaches. Once you find a sweet spot on this side for the side bend, with an inhale, let's turn to gaze up. And then exhale, gazing down toward the left hand. Inhale, looking up. And exhale, looking down. Inhale, rise up to center. And exhale, twist to the right. We can bring the left hand to the right knee and the right hand to the floor behind you. Sitting up nice and tall here. Take a breath in. And exhale, twisting toward the right, maybe looking over that right shoulder. Stay in your twist with your inhale, turning your head only to the left. And exhale, turn your head into the twist to the right. Inhale, looking left. Exhale, right. Breathe like normal. We're going to keep the hold of the right knee here. Start to lift your right arm high and side bending toward the left. For me, this feels like extra good in the back of my right shoulder blade, somewhere around there. More than a side bend, but that's just me coming back up. Let's switch sides, grabbing hold of the left knee this time, and then bringing your left hand behind you. Sit up nice and tall, breathing in. Exhale, twist to the left. Staying in your twist. Inhale here. Exhale, turning just your head to the right. Inhale, looking left. Exhale to the right. Keep hold of the left knee. Start to lift your left arm up and side bending to the right-ish. To me, it's more like forward, like diagonal to the right. When you're ready, come back up to center, and then we'll lower the arms down. Come to hands and knees for cat and cow. Spreading the fingertips just enough so you really feel like you have a solid kind of grip on the mat. Inhale, cow pose, lowering your belly, lifting the tailbone, lifting your gaze. Exhale, cat, rounding up through the spine, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Go ahead and do it a few more times. I like to do this like kind of in a dramatic way with a little wiggle in between and like just feels kind of fun. So feel free to add on little twists or turns if that feels right. All right, let's thread the needle, bringing your left hand a little closer to the center of your mat. Lift your right arm high. Feel this upward twist here for a moment. Feel free to circle out your right wrist a couple times, or maybe even circle your entire right arm a couple times both ways. And then eventually with an inhale, we're upward twisting. And then exhale, thread the needle, dipping that right arm down and through, setting the right shoulder and right side of the head on props or maybe the floor. Let your left hand find its way to a supportive place. And if it feels good to you, maybe lean into your right shoulder very subtly. A little bit of movement there can be a lot. And kind of feeling that stretch to the outside of the right shoulder blade, right shoulder joint. And then planting your left hand back by your face, press your way all the way up, reaching your right arm high, again, upward twist. And then we'll switch sides, bringing your right hand a little closer to the center, lifting that left arm up high. Take some time here, circling out your left wrist, circling out with your entire arm there, both directions. Eventually using an inhale to reset, upward twist. And exhale, thread the needle, dipping that left arm down and through, setting your left shoulder inside of your head on props or the mat. Maybe leaning into that left shoulder a little bit here too. In your own timing, planting your right hand and pressing your way up, upward twist, lifting the left arm high, and then coming back down to tabletop, and then to extended child's pose with your knees out wide, big toes touching behind you. You might warm up your knees here a little bit, maybe sinking back for a moment and then coming back up. You could come down to your forearms if you want, or sink your head and heart toward the floor. You might kind of shift from knee to knee a little bit here, just kind of settling in. Taking some diaphragmatic breaths here, really letting your belly expand with your inhale. So breathing low, down, low and slow. And feeling kind of a sense of surrender on the exhale. Surrender to how things are. Surrender to the present moment. And then we'll start to make our way up through tabletop and then down to your stomach, straightening out your legs behind you. If your shoulder joints are okay with this, we'll reach the arms out in front of us. If that's a little too much, you could bring your hands out to the side. You could bend your elbows or modify that however you want. So we'll give this a go here. We're going to be lifting opposite limbs. I'm going to bring a block underneath my forehead. Otherwise, I feel like I'm going to kind of use my neck too much. So maybe you want to try that as well. Just bringing your forehead to some support. First, before anything, let's just lengthen out. If you just could get your tips of your fingers on tips of your toes just about as far away from each other as possible, stretching, prone, long body stretch. And then coming, out of the full stretch. What was that guy's name? Stretch Armstrong. Coming out of the Stretch Armstrong back to your regular shape. And then we'll start to lift the right hand, just the right arm, keeping your arms straight or in whichever position that you're having your arm. So just the right arm lifting here and the right arm lowering. Go ahead and do that a few times, just getting a very subtle awareness of how the right arm is lifting, which parts of your body feel engaged or activated when you lift, what feels relief when you lower. So we're just lifting the right arm here, maybe one more time. And then we're switching to the left. So just lifting the left arm and lower it back down. Go ahead and do that a few times, noticing the subtleties and the connection of your muscles and your body. And then bringing both arms down, we're going to do the same thing with now the right leg. So keeping your right leg more or less straight, we're going to lift the right leg and then lower. We're going to lift the right leg and then lower. Try to press into the floor with all your other limbs, the arms, that left leg as you lift and lower. Go ahead and switch now to your left leg. Press down with all your other hands and feet, lifting and then lower. Lifting and lowering. Just a couple more times. You don't have to lift too far. All right, take a little rest and then we're going to put it together. We'll start with the left arm lifting and the right leg lifting. So let's inhale as we lift. So when you're ready, inhale, left arm lifts, right leg lifts. Exhale, lower down. Switch sides, inhale, right arm, left leg lift. Exhale, lower. Keep going a couple more times. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Last time, inhale to lift. And exhale, lower. Start to bring your hands next to your shoulders. Press your way up to tabletop. Back to child's pose. Keeping your knees a little closer together this time. A little bit of a stretch, a counter pose for that area of the back that we were definitely tuning into and strengthening there. Next up will be downward dog. Take your time getting there, grabbing your blocks if you want. Curling your toes under eventually, reaching high through the tailbone, committing to a flowing pace of breath here. Maybe pedaling out your legs, bending and straightening opposite knees. Maybe lift and lower to your tippy toes a couple of times. Stretching out the calves, stretching out the hamstrings, the back of the legs. Relax through the neck and the head here, keeping your shoulders engaged, but your head can be kind of loose. We'll eventually walk the hands to the back of the mat, taking your sweet time. We'll end up in ragdoll forward fold at the back of the mat. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows here and swaying a little bit side to side, letting your upper body be nice and loose. This feels at all strenuous on your low back, try to bend your knees more. Checking in with your breath, of course. My strong opinion, if you've been around here going to these classes often, is that a nice, steady, flowing pace of breath makes for an advanced yoga practice, in my opinion. I think the breath and the awareness are way more highlighted in the breath than in any kind of physical pose you can put yourself in. Let's eventually rise up to stand, letting your shoulders, head, and chin be last to rise. When you get to the top, just inviting in a little bit of a wiggle or a bounce, maybe letting your shoulders and your arms kind of start the movement. Or maybe you lift and lower your heels a couple of times. Don't hold anything in here. Just let your body kind of wiggle and shake and just be how it is. Feel like a little hop feels good too. We're alive. We're alive and at the back of our mats. Once you're ready, take a look down at your feet. Pick up your toes, spread out your toes if you can. I think it helps to do the same thing with your hands. And then lower your feet down. Let's look now straight ahead, flipping the palms to the front of your space. I'm gonna start to rise up to the tippy toes. So heels lifting, feeling your legs working together here to keep you lifted, your ankles, your feet, your calves, even your thighs and glutes, nice and solid, and then lower back down. Do it a couple times. Inhale, rising up. This time we have the option to lift our hands up high, and then exhale, letting everything come down. One more like that. Inhale, rising up. And exhale, fold, bringing your heels down, and eventually your hands kind of finding their way down as well. Inhale, halfway lift, rising, or bringing the hands up to the thighs. And with your next exhale, let's start to walk the hands out to our high plank, shoulders over wrists. One big breath in here, press into the floor. And then exhale, lower your knees, lower your chest. Untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet into the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, lifting through the heart and head, letting your shoulders kind of drip down your back or kind of tuck them into the back pockets if that connects with you. With an exhale, lower down. That is our normal option. If you want to instead do our, I forget what it's called. Is it called Superman? I don't remember. But that thing we did with the arms out in front of us. Inhaling, lifting the right arm and the left leg. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, lifting the left arm and right leg. Exhale, lower down. So you have either of those choices as we continue. Let's bring hands on either side of the chest. Inhale, press up to tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, rise up, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. And stay here for 2 breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, rise up, tabletop. Curl your toes under here and then walk your hands to the back of your mat. You could bring your blocks with you here so you end up in like a little squat at the back of your mat. Really nice to have the blocks close by so we can kind of straighten out the spine and get out of the habit of rounding forwards. We're puffing the chest up here. You can have your heels lifted like a frog squat. And take a breath in, puffing up the chest. Exhale, forward fold, straightening your legs. Inhale, squat. If it's a little too far to go all the way down, you can bring your elbows to your knees. Exhale, fold, straightening your legs. Inhale, your version of the squat. Exhale, fold. Let's just do that one more time. Inhale, squat. And exhale, fold. Step your left foot closer to the center of your mat, and then tuck your right foot behind your left foot so that your pinky toes end up touching or somewhat close together. And hands on blocks here. If you don't have your blocks, maybe bring your hands up to your thighs. With your inhale, let's find a halfway lift position. Exhale, little fold. Inhale, halfway lift. So we're just gonna kind of be here for a moment. And exhale, fold. Coming back up to that halfway lift. Let's switch sides. So uncrossing the feet. This time the left foot comes to the center and your right foot sweeps behind and tucks in. So that your pinky toes again are close or touching. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, uncross the feet. Slowly make your way up to stand. Give your legs a little shake if they need it. And then joining hands at heart center, taking a moment just to let the body catch up. Back to that steady breath, steady mind. Remembering your intention if you set one. And we'll take a clearing breath in through the nose and a sigh to release. Inhale, reaching high, and exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walking your hands or your blocks all the way out to your high plank. One big breath in, and exhale, lower your knees and lower your chest. We're getting set up either for baby cobra or let's call it Superman. Why not? Reaching your hands out in front of you. Either way, we're inhaling on the lift and exhaling as you lower. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you lower. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, last one. And exhale, lower. Take one big breath in here, stretching from toes to fingers. And then planting your hands next to your chest. Come on up through tabletop and back to child's pose. If it feels good to reset, maybe you rise back up to tabletop and then back to child's pose. Wherever you are, let's take about 2 more breaths there. Inhale, rising up to tabletop, grabbing your blocks if you want. Curl your toes under and downward dog. Taking a few breaths here, let's experiment with walking the feet together. So your feet maybe even touching at the center. Maybe take a breath there, just noticing what that foot and leg alignment is like for you. And then over the course of the next few breaths, try stepping your feet just a little wider apart. Eventually, go even wider. Taking a breath, maybe in each experiment along the way. Eventually, we're gonna go into our like wide-legged downward dog. So just keep experimenting and see what feels good as far as space between your feet. You could bend one knee and then the other a couple times. Wide-legged down dog. Check in with your neck. Make sure your neck is loose. And then walking your feet a little closer together if they were out wide. Bend your knees and then walk your blocks to the back of your mat so we end up in that little frog squat again. Puffing the chest up here, so maybe coming up to the highest setting on your blocks. Seeing where, like maybe the knees a little closer together or the thighs maybe more parallel or out to the side a little bit. You can see what feels nice. We'll do a little bit of balancing here. It's called a toe stand. So we're already kind of standing on our toes here. Normally the thighs are kind of together, but let's just do whatever we want. Keeping the chest lifted, maybe staying right here with your hands on support the whole time here as you balance. If you're feeling steady, maybe you bring your hands up to heart center. Finding an unmoving focal point, directing your gaze right there at your drishti, not just at it, but through it. If this feels too easy, maybe you purposely kind of wobble and then stabilize yourself again. And eventually we'll come down to a seat. I'm going to tap the tops of my feet out here. Might do the same. And then bringing the legs out straight in front of you. We'll do one more balancing thing here, our beloved cosmic egg. So we're bending the knees. You can grab hold of your legs or shins if you want to. Puff your chest up. Trying to keep the spine nice and tall. Let's lean back a little bit. Start to lift one foot and then the other. See if we can balance here. This is cosmic egg. If you want to get wild with it, maybe let go of your hands or let go of your legs for a second or two. You want to go even wilder, maybe straightening your legs in a boat pose. Being aware and mindful and not being afraid of that wobble, that deep wobble, sign of strengthening, sign of challenge and growth. You choose how long your cosmic egg boat rides. Eventually, we'll lower on down into the floor. Go ahead and just enjoy the support, maybe the relief of the floor there. If there are any other poses or movements or stretches that you want or need before our final rest, go ahead and move through those now. Maybe a long body stretch. It might feel really nice to hug the knees in and roll, massaging pressure around the low back. A lot of low back and core stabilizer muscle work here today. Awareness and strengthening, all good stuff. All right, maybe a little twist. Go ahead and just keep on keeping on until you feel ready for a little bit of rest. Maybe getting a pillow under your head. Maybe grabbing your cat or your dog. Or an eye pillow. And maybe constructive rest pose with your knees bent, or maybe shavasana with your arms and legs outstretched. You take a couple sighing breaths. That always seems to help me shift gears into relaxation. Find that proper oral posture, relaxing your jaw, sealing your lips, but allowing a little bit of space between the biting surfaces of your teeth, and your tongue gently pressing or resting up on the roof of your mouth. Sensing your nasal passageways widening and clearing with each breath. So it becomes easier and easier for you to breathe. Softening the muscles around your eyes. Relaxation moving throughout the back of your neck, your throat, shoulders, and spine. The right arm and the left arm. The left leg and the right leg. Restful everywhere between. Relax your eyebrows. Continue resting as long as you'd like or as long as you need. As you start to think about reawakening, let's begin by touching the thumbs to the pointer fingers, then the middle fingers, the ring fingers, and the pinkies. Just a couple times through, tapping your thumb to each of your fingertips. Eventually bringing slightly bigger movements into the hands, the feet, the ankles, and wrists. You might eventually reach into a long body stretch or any other ways that feel right. Eventually turning on to either side and then pressing your way up to a comfortable seat. Let's join hands at heart center here to close, sitting up tall. Take a moment to recall your intention if you set one today. See if it wants to stick around with you after class, or if you're ready to let go of that now. Either way is just fine. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Together, bringing thumbs to third eye center, let's seal our class in today with a bow forward in gratitude. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here in class today. I hope you're feeling good. Let me know if you have any thoughts or requests for future classes, and I hope to see you again soon.